5 things you need to prepare for before moving to Portugal. Hey everyone, my name is Alex and I'm a lead consultant with Expat Exact, an expatriate and relocation agency aiding you in finding the destination that matches your destiny. In this video, we are covering 5 things you absolutely need to prepare for before moving to Portugal. The stuff that trips people up because nobody told them. These are not the romantic aspects of Portuguese life. These are the nuts and bolts, the daily rhythms, the legal realities, and the cultural expectations that will affect how you live and work. Number one is the language expectations outside Lisbon and Porto, and is something we 100% prepare our clients for, understanding that outside of major tourist areas, English is not widely spoken. And even cities like Lisbon and Porto, most daily life, government offices, healthcare appointments, landlords, utility companies, neighborhood shops, it's advantageous to know Portuguese. English is common in Lisbon and Porto, especially in tourist districts, but that drops off fast once you get outside these major cities. In smaller towns, English speakers are rare. Your plumber, your electrician, your landlord, the person at the electric company, they may only know Portuguese. Daily life, government offices, and contracts are overwhelmingly in Portuguese. Immigration offices, healthcare, banking, rental agreements, all conducted in Portuguese. While you can survive in the big cities with just English, you will face real challenges if you plan to live anywhere else or handle anything administrative. We recommend starting to learn Portuguese before you arrive. You can start with cartoons for children and progress to Portuguese shows or movies with the subtitles on in English, and also using apps which are very convenient but also having actual conversation practice. Learn key phrases for your specific needs, rental vocabulary, healthcare terms, banking language. Going to school to learn the language is incredibly helpful. Our clients have reported that the language barrier did not stop them from transacting, but for those that didn't have as large of a barrier, found Portuguese to be helpful for integrating into the community, handling bureaucracy, and building relationships outside the expat bubble. Number two is tax residency rules and worldwide income. And this is where some people are confused often because they do not understand the difference between immigration residency and tax residency. They're not the same thing, and confusing them is expensive. The basics: you become a Portuguese tax resident if you meet any of these criteria. You spend more than 183 days in Portugal during a calendar year. These do not need to be consecutive, total days count. Or you establish what they call a habitual residence, meaning Portugal becomes your primary home base. Once you are a Portuguese tax resident, you are taxed on your worldwide income, not just what you earn in Portugal. This includes salaries, business income, investment returns, rental income from properties in other countries, and pensions. Portuguese income tax rates are progressive, ranging from 13.25% on lower incomes up to 48% on amounts exceeding 81,199 euros. Portugal does offer the NHR regime, the non habitual resident tax regime, which can offer relief for the first 10 years if you qualify. Under NHR, certain foreign sourced income like pensions and dividends can be taxed at reduced rates or exempt if taxed in the source country. However, NHR eligibility requires you to not have been a Portuguese tax resident in the previous 5 years. There's also foreign asset declaration. If you own assets outside Portugal with more than 50,000 euros, bank accounts, investments, property, cryptocurrency, you may be required to declare them annually. Failure to report can result in penalties. The number one way to prepare is consulting with a tax professional who specializes in expat taxation before you move, so you can understand whether you will trigger tax residency, which, if you are looking at living longer term in Portugal, this is almost for certain. You should consider timing of major financial events, asset sales, pension withdrawals, large income coupled with gathering documentation needed. This is a huge part of financial preparedness, and that's understanding your tax obligation. Number three are regional lifestyle differences, and Portugal is not culturally uniform, and daily life can feel very different depending on the city or region you choose. While outsiders often think of Portugal as having one shared lifestyle, locals understand that each region carries its own social norms, communication style, and expectations. Adjusting successfully often depends more on where you live than on Portugal as a whole. Portugal might be a small country, but the lifestyle differences between regions are significant. Lisbon is international, fast moving with a vibrant startup scene and a strong expat presence. Porto is more traditional, relationship driven, and businesses built on personal connections that take time to develop. The Algarve is heavily tourist oriented with a large foreign population and seasonal rhythm. Smaller regions like Alentejo, the interior, and northern towns are slower paced, more community focused, and deeply rooted in Portuguese culture. Social life revolves around family, local festivals, and long standing community ties. Daily rhythms are quieter, businesses close for long lunches, and outsiders are noticed immediately. In coastal cities like Lisbon, Cascais, or Lagos, or in northern cities such as Porto or Braga, it's important to understand everyone is different and has different preferences, personalities, and ways of communicating and living. The best thing to do is to get to know the person versus leaning into these people. You'll see different styles of dressing, languages spoken in regional areas, ways of thinking, and overall interactions in Portugal due to the versatility present. Embracing it and finding the people that you would like to forge a community with while keeping an open mind is the best way to approach Portugal at large. Flexibility, curiosity, and respect for local norms will matter more than trying to apply a generalized idea of Portuguese culture. Number four, housing competition and informal rental practices. Portuguese rental law operates very differently than what many expats are used to, especially those from the United States, and we help our clients to understand their differences in the systems. The long term rental market in Portugal is extremely competitive, especially in Lisbon, Porto, and the Algarve. Demand far exceeds supply, and prices have risen sharply, so it's safe to say competition is fierce. The first thing are upfront costs. It is common to see requests for multiple months of rent upfront when signing a lease. Here's how it breaks down. This is the security deposit, typically 1 to 2 months rent. Landlords commonly request additional months as security or bank guarantee in high demand markets. Then there's a first month's rent in advance, so total at signing can range from 3 to 6 months rent. Anything beyond reasonable amounts can be challenged, but in competitive markets, pushing back may cost you the apartments. Also, agency fees, where in Portugal fees are often split between a landlord and tenant. In Lisbon and Porto, tenants may be expected to pay a fee equivalent to 1 month's rent. You can negotiate, but refusing may mean losing the apartment. A big one is informal rental arrangements. Some landlords prefer to avoid official contracts, and these arrangements could involve a no written contract, payments in cash, and no official documentation. This leaves you vulnerable if disputes arise because then you have no legal recourse and you cannot prove residency for visa purposes. Always insist on a written contract and make sure the contract includes your name, the landlord's name, the property address, rental amount, deposit amount, lease duration, notice requirements, and who is responsible for utilities and maintenance. Overall, you will need to move quickly when you find something suitable. Have your finances ready and be prepared to negotiate terms that may be different compared to the United States. Number five is slower bureaucracy and appointment culture. Processes that feel instant in the United States can take weeks or months in Portugal, from opening a bank account to getting a tax number to scheduling appointments with government offices. The system is methodical, documents heavy, and moves at a different pace. Here's how it works. Many government services require in person appointments scheduled weeks or months in advance. Banking, tax offices, immigration services all operate on appointment systems. Walk ins are often not accepted or will result in hours of waiting. Missed appointments often mean starting over, and rebooking can take just as long. Office hours can be limited. Many government offices operate only from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and some close for lunch between 12:30 p.m. and 2 p.m. Banks often operate only until 3 p.m. If you work full time, taking time off for appointments becomes necessary. And here's something that can confuse people. Deadlines and processing times are treated as approximate. If told something will take 2 weeks, plan for 4. Here's how you can prepare. Schedule important errands in advance. Banking, government appointments, administrative tasks as soon as you arrive. Book appointments for tax numbers, residency cards, healthcare registration immediately. Bring all requirement documents plus extras. Offices often request additional paperwork not listed. Make copies. Download hours for essential services. And most importantly, mentally prepare to slow down. Fighting the rhythm will only frustrate you. Embracing it will transform how you experience daily life. This is not wrong. It is not inefficient in a malicious way. It is just not the United States. The culture around bureaucracy is different. The systems are their own, and everything requires more time and personal presence. Plan ahead, bring patience, and accept that timelines here will be a bit longer than you expect. So there you have it. These are the realities to understand and prepare for when moving to Portugal. Our clients who thrive are the ones who arrive informed, adjust their expectations, and embrace the differences. Preparation is not about avoiding challenges, it is about meeting them with the right mindset and information. Let me know in the comments which of these you found most surprising or helpful. And if you want personalized guidance on preparing for your move to Portugal, visit expatexact.com to book a consultation today.